Alright, welcome guys to another, I don't know, live stream I guess. My name is Morgan Ozpin and today we're doing a stream, I guess. A stream where I just do I don't know, a chill little study stream. Um, to be honest guys, this stream is not really for you but really more for me because I kind of wanna find some motivation to study for my upcoming finals for this week. And I figured that, well, why don't I just try to feel like I'm more accountable in my studies by just streaming it on YouTube, because usually when I notice that whenever I stream on YouTube, I just focus much more than if I just study on my own. So that's why I didn't really announce this stream on my community tab, because I don't really think you guys uh, would really like this kinds of streams. I don't know what you guys have any, if you guys have any opinions in terms of uh, the subject of prosthodontics, but I'm doing it either way. So yeah. So with that being said, let's just jump into it, shall we? I guess while I make notes, I guess we can chat while I make some shit here on stream. So that said, let's just jump into it, shall we? I don't really have any study music to pair to pair up with this BGM. I just have my pocket orchestra album playing in the background, but let me just turn that up a little bit. No, just a little bit over here. Okay. Alright, okay, with that being said, I guess we can study now. Hold on. So, pretty much I think what I'll do here is just make some notes on my prosthodontics class right now, because I have no idea what to what to do with these kinds of streams. If I get more chit chat, yes, the more I make some notes here for my thing. Alright, what is this? Key file, what? Download. What the what's a key file? Huh? Alright, hold on. Because I'm looking at a bunch of PDFs right now to make these notes. And I didn't really prepare them for the stream. And I have to like download it out of my school's website. But for some reason I can't show this for some reason. Let me see. Now, just to be clear, guys, I ain't gonna show you guys my references here, because I know that my school would kill me if I show you my references, but I will just show you my notes for this stream so you can, I don't know, get a good idea of what I'm reading on stream. Okay, it's a key file. I'm looking at the okay, sheets, I guess? Just once? Oh god, oh no. Check and confirm. Unable to open file. Okay. Well, I guess this can't be opened. How about this? Can I open this? What is this? What is happening right now? Bro, let me view this file. What's a .key file? What kind of format is this? What can I? Hold on, I need to like search this up. How to open a .key file? This is like the most obscure file format I've ever seen in my freaking school's website. All right. Okay, a .key presentation. Okay, I'm looking at windowsreport.com right now. It's really easy to open a .key file. Basically a presentation created with Apple's... What the fuck? Keynote software? Apple made its own, what is it called? Priority file format for presentations? What the frick? Okay, so some of these guys are saying I should just open it with a... Alright. Okay, maybe I'll just skip on this frickin' thing and just look at this thing. Oh! Wait. Okay, I guess I can show you guys some of these files, because these are basically just public files you can view online. Hold on, let me see. Okay, here we go. Or should I show this? It's good, why not? I might as well give credit to the actual users of this presentation, and plus education is pretty much fair use, right? So with that said, let me just where is the Blender render? Okay, I am gonna open up, and I can't find it here for some reason. Hold on. Okay, pull it up here.
Hi Jaco, excuse me, do you have a QC ID? QC
Oh.
design?
Sorry guys, I had to like do something. my aunt or my tita just barged into my room and asked for my, I don't know, my phone number. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm here. Let me just oh my god. This freaking stream is a mess already, guys. I might say. Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Give me. Can I get a. There. Give me this. There. Alright. So this is a SlideShare presentation by Sneha Ratnani called Color and Shade Selection. Wow. Okay. I don't think my teacher really taught me this at school, but alright. Deduction. Okay. Alright, what is this? Okay, hold on. Let me just full screen this real quick. What is this? Color and light. The color of an object is determined by the light that enters the human eye from that object. Well, no shit, Sherlock. What's commonly called the color of a tooth is actually the color of the reflected light. I mean, that's basically just basic science, right? Alright. Color. Color that is perceived is the result of a light source, the object that absorbs, transmits, reflects, or scatters the light from the source, and the interpretation of the result by the human visual system. Okay. Colors is a sensation, alright, okay. Okay, I'm here for prosthodontics. Why are we talking about physics right now? Yeah, I know this. Color mixing, alright, cool. The Munsell system. Okay. Alright. Hue. Do I need to know this? Because I think my blender knowledge already knows what's hue. What is hue? What is chroma? Chroma is just, if you guys don't know, it's just, well, in my experience with 3D software, hue is just the color of a certain thing. And then chroma is basically, I think, the same as saturation in a way. It's how much color there is to an object. So if there is like low chroma, that means your object's either black or white, black and or white. If you have high chroma, your colors are pretty much within the color spectrum of rainbow or something. Okay. Value or the brilliance. Okay, this is just whether your freaking color is either very light or very dark. Translucency, that's pretty much just alpha variable in Blender, right? My god, I think my knowledge in both GIMP and Blender is really carrying me right now. Primary hue, secondary hue. Okay, so primary colors, secondary colors, okay. Complementary hue. Yeah, I know this. This is like... This is just me remembering about color theory. Opposite to each other in the color wheel. Okay. And then, I know there's like relative hue, I think. Let me see. Caleb color system. I need to know this. Maverick colors. Colors found in Denton, but not directly responsible for the Denton color. Okay, Jake Paul. All right. What is this? Maverick colors combine with basic Denton color and project their resultant effect through the animal as composite tooth color. All right. Next. Okay. Okay, well, where do they come from, though? Renta family colors is rather narrow? Influence, very subtle to extensive, depending on the saturation. But where do they come from, though? The eye and color perception. Light enters the eye through the lens and acts on the retina. Rods, these are located on the edges and view towards the center of the retina. Am I starting to become a dentist or an optometrist? What is this? Why am I talking about rods here? I feel like this is something I should have studied in like anatomy or something. They are activated more in low light. This is like rods and cones, right? The rods are like for low light. Cones is like for the more brilliant colors, right? Yeah. Okay. Perception of color depends on observer, environment, object. Stimulus of light and travels through the cornea, lens, aqueous, and vitreous humors and reaches the cones and rods of the eye. Cones function for daylight vision. Okay. Color vision confusion. Genetic. Okay. Factors affecting emotions. Affects. Okay. Alright.
Check.
Hmm?
If you have time,
Sorry guys, I had to mute again. I don't know what's happening right now, but my tita saying that if I show my barangay my ID and my signature, I get some free gifts or something. I don't know what's happening. Although I did kind of hear in I don't know, in some kind of Reddit post somewhere that some cities around the Philippines like giving out free food or something in response to some of the the recent storms happening in the country. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Okay, where was I? Spatial contrast, fluorescence, defined as the absorption of light by a material and the spontaneous emission of light in a longer wavelength blue. Okay, last time I checked, teeth don't glow, right? Fluorescence natural tooth occurs primarily in the dentin due to the higher amount of organic material present. More the dentin, fluorescence, lower is the chroma. Oh. I guess that makes sense. I mean, light. Sure, okay. Fluorescence considered as subset of reflectivity. Ah, okay, so it's not talking about how teeth like naturally glows. It's a result of teeth reflecting light. So that's what means by fluorescence of the teeth. Opalescence, a phenomenon where a material appears to be one color when you observe light reflected and it looks another color when you see light transmitted through it. Oh. So it's a matter of seeing color that's being bounced off an object versus a color that you see that's being like passed through an object, right? State selection principles. The principle: the patient in upright position, mouth at dentist eye level. Selection should be made when subject tooth and adjacent tooth are clean. Cosmetics should be removed and bright colored clothes covered. Okay. View in many light sources possible and from varying distances. Don't stare for more than 5 seconds. Why? Move your eyes away and look at a neutral color, light blue or gray. Okay. Commercial shade guides. Okay. Okay, I've heard of shade guides before. Basically, you have all these like you have this like these set of central incisor teeth with differing amounts of colors. And what you do is you take one of them and you put it next to a patient's teeth, and you kind of need to know whether the color matches the patient's teeth in a way. Because in prosthodontics, if you guys don't know, you're basically just trying to make dentures for your patient, and a shade guide is used to figure out what kinds of teeth you would put into a denture of a patient, because in the real world our teeth comes in different amounts of colors. You can't just go with the whitest pairs of artificial teeth out there. You need to like know which ones would match the patient's dentition. It could be the one that's more yellow or the one that's a bit more white. Usually usually when it comes to patients in my country, I think the color is the color of the teeth is more so between yellowish and white, and that has nothing to do with that's nothing to say with our oral hygiene, by the way, because according to my oral anatomy teacher, it's actually better for people if your teeth is somewhat in the yellow side of things. I think it has something to do with the mineralization of the teeth, but when your teeth is I don't know, somewhere in the yellow side, they say that not too yellow though, but like somewhere in the middle between white and yellowish, they say it's much more healthier. But because we think aesthetically of white teeth as the more beautiful kinds of teeth, we usually want to make it white, which is not bad in the long run, but compared to white teeth and slightly yellowish teeth is like the better kind of teeth, I'd say. Vita Classic, okay. Vita Classic Shade Guide. Very popular shade guide. Tabs of similar hue are clustered into letter groups. Chroma is designated with numerical values. A3 equals hue of red, yellow. Chroma of 3. Okay. So A represents the okay. So here's some finally something that will actually help me, and something relevant to prosthodontics too. Okay. So the first letter represents the hue, while the number represents how much color there is. Which I guess makes sense here now. As you can see on the red yellow spectrum here, on the left side is more yellow, more whitish, but as you move towards the right here, you get a more brownish color, I guess. Same thing for the yellowish, the grayish, and the gray, red, yellowish, I guess. And for my own understanding of my prosthodontics teacher, I think he says that A2 or A3 is like the most common variants of teeth you'll find in most cases. Which you might seem a little bit dirty, but it's actually. But if you pair it up with your own natural teeth, you notice that it's actually much more natural to have these kinds of colors than compared to A1 or B1. B1 seems too unnatural now that I think about it. Unless you're like a model or something, you can go for like a whitish teeth, right? Vita Classic Shade Guide, manufacturer recommended sequence for shade matching. Okay. 4 categories representing hue: yellow, red. Okay, I'll put down some notes into my thing here. Hold on. Let me put this onto desktop too. Put this here, and then I don't know. We can like move this here, I guess. I don't know. There. All right. Let's make some notes over here. Insert table. Oh, okay. Let me put up a. Let's call this like shade. Tooth selection. I have a working title for this notes. And then okay, how do I describe what I've learned just now? Something I've discovered while during college is that, you know, teaching can really be some kind of art form in some cases. Because to me, this whole shade guide thing makes sense to me, but if I were to put it down to words, I don't really know how to describe it without sounding too disorganized. It's like I can't just say, oh, A means red, yellow, and free means chroma. If you're like gonna teach that to like a, I don't know, a new student, they might not know what means. The letter in a shade guide that represents the part of a shade guide that represents the hue of a tooth. Letter. Okay. And the part of the shade guide that represents the chroma / saturation of a tooth. I mean, I guess the key word here is, you know, chroma, but for my own understanding of, for my own purposes and for my own way of speaking English, I think I'll include saturation here because that's the I understand saturation more than chroma, even though they're like two different words, you know. They're synonyms, but I don't think I can like catch the definition of chroma in my head as well as saturation. If I think saturation and chroma together, I'm like, oh, it means like the how much color there is in a color, I guess. So I'll call this number. Then I guess for my own purposes, I'll merge these together, and then I'll do a free, just to kind of tell me what, just give me a little bit of a visual of what I'm saying here. These first two parts. Okay. All right. Oh, and by the way, I guess when I make notes, I do it in these kind of red, yellow, chroma, free. When I make notes, I make sure to do it in this table format, and you'll figure out why in just a second. But let me just make this here. Okay. Alright, so letter to represent red, yellow. Red, yellow, a letter to represent yellow, B. I don't think these letters really mean anything. It's just a letter to designate a color to a tooth. Letter to represent gray, C. Letter yellow gray. Wow. What's that, brown? I feel like if you mix those different colors together, you get brown, right? D. Okay. Alright, so that's one. Okay. So the reason why I'm going for like a table format here is because if ever I'm gonna review my notes again, what I will do is just cover this left column with my left hand and just read the definitions on its own, and I can like quiz myself on what the terms would be for these definitions. So I'm not only am I making notes, I'm also like making a quiz for myself in a way. Okay. Okay, let me just let me just pull up this this thing real quick here. Let me just open up this tab a little bit here. Okay. Chroma selection. Difficult to select hue of teeth, low in chroma. I mean, it's like, I guess, yeah. But if you're like, if your teeth is like really low in chroma, you can just, it's just a decision between either some shades of white versus some shades of brown, I guess. Okay, okay. Potential problem. Determine the lightness value. Okay. This feels very specific to a brand. I don't think these are like necessary for me to know about. Guidelines for clinical shade selection. Okay. Location of lighting, surrounding color, spatial position. Okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot of this, because I'm too lazy to to write this down on my own. So, boop. Okay, and then I might as well just put this. I should just put these all in one desktop, should I? Because I am placing my OBS software and my WPS Office and Firefox into different workspaces here, so to like manually switch between these workspaces every now and then. But look at that, we're here. I'm gonna shrink this down right here like that, and I'm gonna merge the cells here. Control V, here we go. Alright, so back to here. Light. Sunlight is a traditional source of light for performing work. Standard daylight, light exposure, metamer is a phenomenon occurring when the quality of objects appear to match under one lighting source but not under a different source. Alright, do I need to know this? Non-lighting. Location diagram. Okay, I guess that's it. Alright, so I guess that's my notes for shade selection. Okay. And then we will go to here. what's this? Okay, I'm back in my school's website. I'm trying to see what's next here. Okay. I am looking at another module here about maxillary and mandibular relations. Wow, what is this? Really not like faceplate modeling max. Let's roll that. Okay. Okay, I might need to write this down. Hold on. Oh wait, hold on. Is this presentation taken from somewhere else? I feel like if I search up maxillary and mandibular relationships. Okay, I am still not showing anything that's like exclusively known. Exclusively owned by the university, because I can't just show them those kinds of things. What's the name of the module 11? Maxillomandibular relations. Peter Pasquale. Oh wait, no. I think this is an actual thing that my school actually made. Okay. Frick, I might need to like shrink this down. Put this up here, and this is so big. No. Up. No. No. Windows, please don't continue just yet. I can't just like copy paste this. Okay. Alright, so maxillary and mandibular jaw relationship. In which the mandible bears with the maxilla. I guess it's self-explanatory, but you never know how much I sometimes forget these little things when I finally get to do these quizzes in school. The positional relationship in which the mandible bears the maxilla in terms of its horizontal and vertical movements. That's it. Okay. Learning outcomes, bite registration, and a occlusal representation of how the... Okay. Here's another one. Bite registration. I'm like skipping over all of the little details here and just going for the main things. And a Cluso demonstration. Of how the maxillary and mandibular teeth enter. Is that how it's spelled? Intercruspate? With a dash? Alright, my registration is essential for the subsequent articulation of the maxillary and mandibular study models. And yeah, I guess that makes sense. Measure the extent of the bite rim from the study cast and cut the excess wax to accommodate. Materials used in doing bite registration. Bite registration. I hope my keyboard ASMR is making this stream much more entertaining. 4. Vinyl polysiloxane bite wax. Base plate wax and modeling wax, okay. Base plate wax. Modeling wax. Okay. Bite wax use, measure the extent of the bite rim from the study cat and cut the excess wax to accommodate the width of the arches. Okay, and it's ruled out the thickness of. Alright, if VPS is used, placed gently on the occlusal surface of the lower arch after patient approaching them. I mean, he's giving me some instructions here on how I can use these materials, but to know these things? Wait, just extend the bite rim. I don't think so. I mean, I'm just going for the more important notes here. Desirable contact relationships, spontaneous bilateral contact. Okay. Okay. Let me just write this down. Direct contact relationships with RPD. Simultaneous Identical contact of opposing posterior teeth must occur in central relation. I can imagine this being part of like a multiple choice question wherein it goes somewhere like, oh, all these statements are true except conclusion for tooth supported partial tensure. Conclusion for tooth supported partial tensure. similar to the occlusal occlusion seen in natural dentition. Occlusion for two support cortical dentures, similar to Polish occlusion seen in natural dentition. Okay. Okay, well, I have no idea how to make this entertaining for you guys, but I'm just gonna write this down. Bilateral balanced occlusion in eccentric position in a maxillary complete denture. Opposing removable partial denture. Okay. Boop 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 should be obtained for the mandibular distal extension denture. Simultaneous working and balancing contacts should be formulated for axillary bilateral. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay. Lateral. Distal extension MPD. Whenever possible. Only working contacts need to be formulated for the mandibular and axillary unilateral distal extension RPD. Okay. Methods for class 4 contact with opposing teeth. Opposing teeth. Boop boop boop. Opposing teeth. And what? Opposing teeth. Well, contact of opposing teeth, anterior teeth. That doesn't sound right. Composing anterior teeth. Contact of opposing anterior teeth in the planned intercuspal position is desired to prevent continuous eruption of the opposing natural incisors. You know, I could like sort of show you guys this source that I'm getting from right now, but I don't know what's my school when it comes to educational resources, but I can't show these to you guys for some reason because it would like disobey like my school rules for some reason, even though fair use is a thing, you know. From last time I've checked, if you look into fair use, one thing that's excluded from copyright law, from my understanding, is, you know, educational resources like this one. Well, I guess I don't know what's it with my institution right now. Incisors, okay. Pop. Teeth should not be arranged further. Incline, ascending ramus of the residual ridge. Okay. Methods for establishing occlusal relationships. Establishing occlusion by recording of occlusal pathways. Okay, how long is this module? I just realized. Oh, wow. There's only like 5 pages left to this module I need to study. Method establishing direct position of the casts, the occlusal records. Direct position of the casts. Interocclusal records with the steer being Alright. Methods for establishing inclusive relationships. Alright guys, if you guys can tell, I'm really like skipping through some some information here. Just make sure this thing is like not one-to-one to what I'm studying right now. God, don't you sometimes hate it whenever like whenever you try to search for some crucial information online for, I don't know, like a research or something, and then when you finally find, I don't know, like a research paper in Google Scholar, you click on the link and you're expecting like a full research article in the thing, only to be greeted with, oh, this is free and gate capped unless you sign up to our subscription plan that costs like, I don't know, $10 or something. I think like websites like ResearchGate or any of those like research freaking websites are like main culprits of it. Like, guys, what is this? I thought the freaking, I don't know, I thought the fair use is a thing. We can't just be gatekeeping educational resources like this. I mean, I guess I kind of understand why they need to like give you, why they want you to pay for these research articles. It's to like support future research endeavors. But then you need to like ask the question, should it be this way? Should we really be gatekeeping knowledge when our when future generations right now are as brain rot as they are right now? Direct apposition of castes. Inter-occlusal records with what's it called? Posterior teeth remaining. Occlusal relations using occlusion rims on record basis. You know, adding to the discussion of how we always put our educational resources in a paywall, I kind of hate right now how most of like the basic necessities we need to like improve as a person is now mostly being gate capped by prices right now. Because I had like a little bit of a discussion about like, I don't know, like business with a dentist that I know about, and he's trying to justify why we have these high prices for clinics and all. And from my understanding, I kind of get why we wanna like make our medical expenses as high as it should, but you gotta like think outside the box, you know, outside of business, and think about what you're actually doing right now. You're trying to charge people who need your medical help to preserve their life with these high prices, and I'm like, you know, like, do you wanna, you know, like hurt this person or kill this person by giving these patients who are in dire need of treatment these high like prices for shit? Okay, hold on. Jaw relation records. Made entirely on occlusion rims. Establishing occlusion by the chording of occlusal pathways. Alright. I just think that, you know, maybe medication, basic access to medication shouldn't be something that we should mix with, I don't know, with business and stuff, with business and economics. I think like there should be some kind of line between how much we should charge patients in this time of need. Even though I know that it kind of makes sense in the world that we live in and the economy that we are experiencing right now to charge extra for our services, for dental or medical services. But you need to like ask the more significant question of should you be charging this much services to a person that might be, you know, in an intensive care unit or something. But then again though, it is just my opinion, guys. I don't want this to be like, maybe there's something I just don't get. But based on my own experience, guys, here's how I look at this situation. Cause I used to have like a close friend, a close friend that recently passed away, and from my own understanding of the story, there was a chance that he could have been saved if, because there was like he was like in dire need of help at a campus where I used to stay, and he could have like gotten like the treatment he needs if the clinical instructor of my not the clinical instructor but the clinical nurse of my campus would have done better. But what this clinical nurse did was just not really take the freaking situation seriously. Like my classmate rushed to the clinic to to ask for her help, but what she did was just walk towards where the dying patient was, and I don't know, she just didn't even know what to do. From my own understanding, she didn't really took the situation as professionally as it should. And I always wonder what could have happened if she just, you know, if she knew what to do at that particular point in time. And I like to think that the reason why she didn't know what to do at that time is because I don't know, if we're not gonna fault her own like her own morals at the time, I would mostly point to our own way of educating students at this point in time, and how we are just loosey goosey when it comes to, oh, we should this is how we should teach students who wants to become doctors or medical professionals in later in life. And not to mention, I don't know, when it comes to professors in the Philippines, we really like to gatekeep a bunch of these things. Especially in my institution right now, they really just don't want to share these crucial resources to the public. Even if, you know, even if these educational things are basically just public information to some people. Okay, hold on. Let me just make some notes here. Temptation of the removal partial denture to its supporting structures must be evaluated and adjusted. What am I looking at right now? Oh, insertion and adjustment procedures. Patient education. Alright. Objectives. Soft tissue adaptation. Alright, hold on. Let me just make a table, not a table, a row above this. Merge cells, and call this maxillary mandibular jaw relationship. Okay. And then I'll call this next section probably have to private up this VOD, because I don't know if you guys are gonna find these kinds of things entertaining. Plus, I don't think this is great for my channel's SEO to be talking about medical stuff in a channel that's mostly about art and stuff. Alright, merge cells. Call this insertion and adjustment procedures. Wait, did I do all the notes for the last module? Hold on. Okay, let's rewind the clock here. I think I may have missed some information on the other module here. No. What is this? No. Put me back. Okay. Alright. Back here. Oh yeah, I definitely missed some parts here. Let me make a insert. Cells. Insert rows below. Vertical jaw dimension. Vertical dimension of what? The face between 2 points. The nose and chin. then too important. Insert rows below. Too important vertical dimensions of a patient. Physiologic breast dimension. Vertical dimension. 2 to 4. Oh, 2 to 4. Alright, nice. Space between maxillary and mandibular teeth. Interocclusal. Why is WPS thinking that I just wrote Spanish? What the frick? Interocclusal rest space. I guess the dash is necessary for this one. Establishing the vertical dimension. Determine the physiologic and then subtract it 2 to 3 millimeters. Why would you wanna calculate the OV, not the OVD, wait. Yeah, why would I want to calculate the OVD when you can just measure it on your own? I thought that it's always the freeway space that you need to calculate. Then you just subtract RVD from OVD to get the freeway space. Oh well. Unless you have a dentalist patient, but this RPD, this is we're talking about here. The first critical decisions that must be made in the removal questions that involve selection to horizontal child relationship, which will be fabricated. Okay. Maximal tooth to tooth. Alright. Wait. What about the horizontal? Oh, along. Is it front and back? Bone to bone horizontal, okay. Let me just insert 2 rows here. Insert row below. Bone to bone horizontal relation. Of the mandible to the maxilla. Tooth to tooth. Horizontal. relationship. This is centric relation. And the other one is maximal, maximal intercuspal. Maximal intercuspal position central relation. So I guess the key word here is just cuspal because our teeth is made of cusps. Like these bony bumps on its occlusal surface. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I skipped a lot of information here just to make sure that this is just my work that doesn't disobey any of my institution's rules. Wow, what's this? Oh, it's not it. Alright, now I am in module 13, I think. No. IPD delivery and adjustment. No. Okay. Okay, the adaptation of the removable parts of the denture to its supporting structures must be evaluated and adjusted as required at the delivery appointment. Analysis of the occlusion and articulation should follow the confirmation of complete and stable seating of the removable partial denture. Moreover, a specific patient instruction should be given on the care of the partial denture and all tissues as well as on the need of periodic evaluation. Okay, so I guess it's more so about adjusting the RPD's components to the patient's needs, I guess. Yeah, objectives to evaluate and correct the fit of the denture base to correct the occlusion, adjust the retentive class, provide verbal and written instructions, alright, yada yada. Insertion procedure, evaluate the relationship of the components to underlying soft tissues, components require max relief from the soft tissue adaptation, abutment tooth adaptation should demonstrate a... Alright. Small plate, bar clasp, approach arm. Okay. Oh, I didn't know you need a wax relief for a bar clasp. Okay. Last arms, minor connectors, and proximal plates should demonstrate their required contact with the abutment teeth. I feel like this is just reiterative of some of the other stuff I've already known about in our past lessons in RPD. Centric occlusion. Posterior teeth to demonstrate bilateral, even. Okay, I know that already. Posterior teeth to demonstrate appropriate relationship. To demonstrate occlusal contact at correct vertical dimension. Okay. Yes. Okay, this module here seems to be either common sense or just things I've already known about on past lessons. RPD should not increase the vertical dimension of the patient. Of course, that's common sense, I guess. RPD should demonstrate appropriate occlusal contact with opposing dentition or restoration during. Okay. Tooth-borne partial dentures. Require clinical amount procedure, remount procedure. Okay. Okay, I think where I need to take notes is insertion procedure, soft tissue rotation. Fine, I'll just make notes of this just in case things have to. If my teacher really is going to go for a strict be really strict when it comes to the definition here. Let me just write some of the keywords here. Soft tissue adaptation, abutment tooth adaptation, abutment tooth adaptation. Insertion procedures. Soft tissue, abutment tooth, denture retention, evaluation, dislodging forces. Now all these terms that I'm writing right now do have some definition to it, but I'm like, do I need to write it down? Because I feel like the term already like describes itself in a way. Like for example, denture retention evaluation is just the resistance to vertical dislodging forces. The evaluation of the resistance to vertical dislodging forces, I mean. And when I think of resistance to vertical dislodging force, I just think of retention, and it's already in the name itself. So I don't know if I want to write that down. Okay, occlusion and articulation evaluation. Occlusion and articulation evaluation. A beach demonstrated appropriate occlusal contact with opposing dentition. Okay, maybe I can maybe list some of these parts here. Let's see. Centric occlusion. Control C, Control V. Part of occlusion and articulation evaluation, or I guess what's like the right term for this? A component, a characteristic, trait. Yeah, this a factor observed in occlusion and articulation evaluation in which the posterior teeth should observe demonstrate bilateral even and simultaneous contact. Anterior teeth should demonstrate the appropriate relationship to opposing teeth. Anterior teeth should demonstrate the appropriate relationship to opposing teeth. I think that's that can just be applied to any teeth, right? There's the sentence here that just says anterior teeth should demonstrate the appropriate relationship to opposing teeth. But you can just apply that same logic to like any other teeth, right? I'm not gonna write that down. That just feels like too common sense of a statement to write down to my notes. Occlusal vertical dimension. To demonstrate occlusal contact at correct vertical dimension should not increase the vertical dimension of the patient. Alright. Should demonstrate occlusal contact at correct vertical dimension. RPD should not increase the vertical dimension of the patient. Okay. Now the reason why I'm writing this down is because they seem to be using the keyword occlusal here in their definition, and I feel like I could mix them up if I'm not careful with how I read my test questions here. RPD should demonstrate appropriate occlusal contact with opposing dentition. Sorry guys, there's like this ambulance outside, what the frick? Oh god, the peacefulness of the stream has been disturbed by the presence of medical staff outside, oh my god. Opposing dentition or restoration. Mandibular excursive movement. Now, if you guys are just coming here to look at my notes, this probably won't be like a good way for you guys to study your lessons, because depending on what kind of learner you are, I don't know if notes would be like really good for you when it comes to studying. For me, the reason why I make my notes is not only because I could have a reference to what I've learned so far when I want to study these subjects again, but the reason why I do these notes is because there is the whole kinetic factor to making notes that really makes me drill these like lessons into my brain. Because I think I've heard before that they're like, according to some people, there are 3 types of learners: the visual learner, the the people that that can learn stuff through auditory media out there, and then there are the people that can learn stuff through action or through kinetics. And I don't know what kind of learner I am, but I realized that I can like learn stuff more if I just do stuff more, I guess. And when it comes to lectures, the way I learn kinetically is just by making notes, and it's not really the notes that's really helping me here, but the action of making notes that gets me to learn more of these things. I mean, sure, I guess the notes also do help me in the long run, but like, I think it's really just me reading and writing things down that actually gets me to drill these things into my head. Tooth-borne partial dentures, occlusion and articulation may be evaluated intraorally. Intraorally adjustments. Usually require clinical remount procedure. I'm on this one slide here that talks about what we can do to adjust dentures that are either heavily reliant on the tooth for support or for both tooth and oral tissues for support. I mean, technically we're talking about retention here, but for the general audience of my channel, I think the best way to describe tooth-borne partial dentures and tooth tissue-borne partial dentures is that sometimes, well, not sometimes, but all the time, dentures don't just like sit on your mouth. They need to be like supported by already existing structures in your mouth, and that can either be for your teeth alone or the existing natural teeth in your oral cavity, or teeth and tissues, both teeth and oral tissues like your gums, help put your dentures in place. And this slide is really describing to me what tooth-borne partial dentures are, but more so like telling me how to evaluate these things, which I don't know how I can put into notes here. Dental block components may require adjustments. Tooth-borne partial dentures may be evaluated. Okay. Tooth-borne partial dentures. Kind of dentures in which it's occlusion and articulation may be evaluated intraorally. I mean, that's like most things, right? most of the time when you want to evaluate a patient's occlusion and articulation, that you can just do that intraorally, right? You can just look at a patient in the face and think, oh, you're biting things wrong or something, you know? Kind of need like I don't know, some kind of tool to put inside a patient's mouth to observe occlusion, right? Unless his jaw is really messed up, and then that's when you can like evaluate someone's occlusion extraorally in a way. Sure, I'll just write this down just in case. I don't know what can this thing tell me about partial dentures. Occlusion articulation may be evaluated. Occlusion articulation may be evaluated intraorally. I think it's gonna apply to any kind of denture, right? Okay, so now we go for the true RPD here. Tooth tissue born. Partial dentures. In either way, if you're gonna examine a patient's, even if it's possible to examine a patient's occlusion extraorally, I don't think it'll be as accurate as if you were to, you know, take a bite registration wax, take a bite registration and do it intraorally. So yeah, I think this is a statement that can apply to any kind of denture. Unless you're talking about edentalist patients, then I guess you do kind of have to, you can kind of examine it extraorally, I think. Well, we're talking about RPD here, so. Kind of denture that requires clinical remount procedure. Clinical remount procedure, okay. Retentive components may require adjustment. Okay, here we go. Plier for super bulge direct retainer. Alright. Plier, let's see, plier for adjusting. Supra bulge. So I guess simple acres clasps, okay. Supra bulge. Oh, get spacing. Supra bulge direct retainers. This is the bird beak, right? Okay. The bird beak plier. Number 139. Okay. I didn't know we have different pliers for adjusting retainers. C, Control V, infra. Okay. This is the free prong plier. It seems counterintuitive to have two different pliers to adjust what appears to be just a piece of metal. They can adjust with either with just with one kind of these pliers, but I guess I'm not. I guess my imagination isn't really imagining it that well. Maybe there's a reason why we have two different pliers for these kinds of direct retainers. For you simpletons out there that may not be a dentist or a dental student, dang, I feel like I'm like demeaning you guys by calling you simpletons. I didn't mean to do that, but to anyone who is unaware or is just tuning in to this dental talk right here, a direct retainer is basically just a clasp that you hook, that a clasp that's a part of your denture that clasps onto an existing teeth in your mouth, so that your dentures can, you know, be fitted properly into your mouth. And you know, since you know, just think of like I don't know, a claw or something, hugging some of your teeth. That's basically what a direct retainer is. And as you can imagine, a claw is made up of these arms that is used to hug a teeth, so that it can be properly supported, so that the denture can be properly supported into the mouth. So in some cases, these things might not be fitted properly into one's tooth. So what you do is pull out some of these pliers to I don't know, to adjust its positioning in the surfaces of your teeth. But I don't know why we have two different pliers. Maybe there's just something to do with, because I'm imagining it, and all the clasps that or retainers I've seen from my school, I basically just, you know, things that you can easily, like, they're just as thick as, I don't know, like a needle or something. So I don't know why we have these two different pliers to, I don't know, to adjust the bend of a clasp or something. I don't know. Maybe I can ask my teacher on that next time we meet. Procedure for peripheral adjustment. Visually inspect the peripheral components of the seated partial denture in the mouth. Instruct the extension. Then reactivate or instruct the patient. Visually inspect the peripheral components of the check the extension. Alright. Procedure 4. I'm just gonna make this. Actually, no, wait. I'm just gonna copy this entire thing here. Procedure for peripheral adjustments. Visually inspect the peripheral components of the seated. Okay, I think this is just for aesthetic purposes, because I think it's talking about all the parts of the dentures that's like visible to the naked eye when you look at it, when you look at your mouth from normally. We should inspect the peripheral components of the seated partial denture in the mouth. Partial denture in the mouth. Check the extension. Okay, I think this next section is all about trying to hide the things that make your partial denture look like partial dentures in a way. Because the goal of people doing RPD design is to make sure that all the metal and all the artificial components of a partial denture that isn't visibly seen by people who are just, you know, normally looking at your teeth for the first time or something. And I think this next section of my module is all about trying to make your denture look as naturally as possible by hiding these said components. Manually activate or instruct the patient to move the up through simulated functional. Manually activate or instruct the patient to move their lips, tongue, cheeks, and jaw through functional movements. I don't know why, but I'm just imagining you trying to quote-unquote manually activate the movement of the lips, tongue, cheeks, and jaw. All I can imagine is like that one feature in Super Mario 64 wherein when you first boot up the game, you get like a 3D face of Mario, and you get the ability to just manually deform Mario's face when you like manipulate all the different parts of his face. And all I can imagine through this sentence of manually activating a patient's movement is just trying to deform his face like some kind of 3D model in Blender or something. Evaluate the extension. Alright. Periphery cannot be adequately absorbed and a question of peripheral extension exists. Use disclosing wax. This will show overextension or underextension. What do you mean disclosing wax? This will show overextension or underextension. Modified periphery is indicated by visual and disclosing wax evaluation. Okay, at what point in a treatment or in a diagnosis can you not see nor make the patient move his mouth? Modified periphery is indicated by visual and disclosing wax evaluation. Well, I don't get this, so maybe I'll just write this down for future reference here. Where periphery cannot be adequately observed and a question of peripheral extension exists. Okay. Use disclosing wax. This will show over extension or under extension. Modify the periphery as indicated by visual and disclosing wax amount. Okay, maybe I don't know what peripheral adjustment is. Modify the periphery as needed and is closing wax evaluation. Or maybe it's talking about whether or not this denture is overextending or underextending towards the roof/floor of the mouth. Maybe that's what it means. Patient instructions: care of the partial denture, brushing technique, use of a proper brush. Okay, wait, let me look at this freaking thing one more time. Okay, let me just jump through this. I feel like I can just read this on my own time just to see where this goes. Installation and home care instructions. What is this? Nope, I don't need this. We're jumping into the last module here. Oh god, okay. RPD accomplishment form. Okay. I'll make a separate table for this just in case I want to make more notes for the last module. Okay, work authorization. Order? Wait, order, okay. Some parts of this module describes this term as work authorization order, while this other page here describes this work authorization. Written directions. Directions. For laboratory procedures to be performed for fabrication of dental restorations. Okay. Written request is termed equivalent to a prescription. And contains specific and detailed directions to be followed in the fabrication of RPD. There we go. clicked off the page. Alright. Furnaces. The furnishes definite instruction for laboratory procedures, provides a means of protecting the public from legal practice of dentistry. What? Provides one of the purposes of a work authorization order is to provide a means of protecting the public from the illegal practice of dentistry. Oh, you mean like if ever the lab wants to give like law enforcers proof that they're not just making dentures for the sake of it without authorization from an actual dentist. Okay, I see. It is a protected legal document for both the dentist and the dental. Okay, I'm just gonna write this down. Provides a means of protecting the public from the illegal practice of dentistry. A protective legal document for both the dentist and the dental technician. It is completely delineates the responsibilities of the dentist. Okay. Delineates the responsibilities of the dentist and the lab technician. Okay. Next. Legible, clear, concise, and readily understood. Sufficient information must be included to enable the technician to understand and execute the request. I think those characteristics apply to all legal documents, right? Name and address. Oh, here we go. All right. So, what's the contents of wow. Name and address of the dental laboratory, name and address of the dentist that initiated the wow, right? Identification of the patient. Date of work authorization. Date of wow / date of as desired date of completion of request. Specific instructions. Okay. Specific instructions. What is this? Is this just a Lala move order or something? Signature. Signature of the dentist. Okay. I feel like I'm also learning how to become like a Grab driver or something by just studying this. Registered license of the dentist. Okay. Cool. Next slide. Definitive instructions by work authorization. Only a minimum of writing is necessary. Contain a minimum. What is this? Is a word count? Contain printed listings of materials and specifications. To selection. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need to take this down. This is like really crucial information when it comes to making a work authorization order. Definitive instructions in a WoW. Only a minimum of writing is necessary. I mean, yeah, I guess. Printed listings of materials and specifications. Choice of metal for the framework. If we're going for a denture base made out of metal. But there are already like thermoplastic dentures out there. But they're like hard to come by because of how hard and expensive they are to obtain. Tooth selection. Display of courtesy deserved by and demonstration for the dental technician are indicated. Oh, oh my god. Okay, so I'm reading this module here, and it says here that under the definitive instructions that you should be writing in a work authorization order, there should be a display of courtesy deserved by and a demonstration of respect for the dental technician. And oh my god, this feels like something that isn't present whenever I look at relationships between dentists and dental technicians near my circle. Because because my mom is technically a dentist, and my dad as well. And whenever they word their opinions of a dental technician they work with most of the time, they usually have the worst things to say when it comes to working with these said dental technicians. Things like, oh, this dental technician did this and this when I told her to do this and this and shit like that. And it's like, what is happening with with their work right now? Like, I never see dental technicians get respect when it comes to this side of the world, and I feel sorry for them sometimes, and I only wish them the utmost of respect when they meet with dentists in this country right here and now. I'm sure I'll write that down for my own future sake and for you guys' future sakes if you want to become a dentist. Respect and courtesy for the dental technician is probably something we need right in our work authorization. In our work authorization orders. There we go. Respect and courtesy for the for the dental technician. Figures and diagrams can be provided to enhance. Okay. Figures and diagrams. Figures and diagrams, if necessary. Okay. A color code index can be used to explain the markings on the master cast. A color code index may be used to indicate the markings in a master cast. Okay. Format of wow. Okay. Case details. Alright. Alright, format of wow. Okay, case details. Clinician / dentist name. Date. Patient's name. What else is there? Patient's name, laboratory name, lab name, work to be done, design drawing, and then instructions. Okay, wow, proper. General instructions, specific instructions, and what else is there? Final instructions. Okay. All right. There's a little bit of a example here. I don't think I need to list here in my Word Office document. Okay, it says here, this is what the example of a work authorization looks like when it comes to its general instructions. To the dental technician, please fabricate a one-piece casting maxillary / mandibular RPD framework. Reorient the cast using the tripod marks and resurvey the cast. Please block out all unnecessary undercuts. Okay, that must be talking about. I think this is for, what's it called? Occlusion sake, I think. Major connector. Please follow these specific. Okay, this is another example here. It's specific instructions. Okay, please follow these specific instructions. Yada yada yada. In the retainers on tooth number 1 free. Okay. And return. Okay. All right. I think I am made all of my notes right now. Wow, the module 13 was very easy to make notes of. I mean my last module here, it's very easy to make notes out of. So let me go back to the other module here that I skipped forward on. Let's see. So let's go back here. Procedure for peripheral adjustment is where I last left off. Patient instructions. Okay. Care for the partial denture. Use of proper dress. And soap. Patients should be advised not to use toothpaste or abrasive cleaners. Denture paste. Should I even be making notes out of this? This second half of this module, this doesn't feel that substantial, but okay, sure, why not? We'll talk about patient counseling, I guess. All right. Patient counseling. Hand soap, denture paste or creams. Oh god, come on. Right, brushing. Technique. Use of a proper brush for the RPD brush over a sink with water or a towel on it. This minimizes the potential for damage if the RPD is dropped. It minimizes the potential for damage if RPD is dropped. Cleaning agents. Hand soap. Patients should be advised not to use toothpaste or abrasive cleaners. Use hand soap. Patients are advised not to use toothpaste or abrasive cleaners. Hand soap, denture paste, or creams. Soap cleaners for RPD. Soap cleaners. Okay. Use soap cleaners for RPD with stains and plaque accumulation. Use ultrasonic baths. Use ultrasonic baths. Patients. Patients what? Patients having difficulty brushing or as an adjunct cleaning procedure. Okay. Adjustments. Patients are advised not to adjust their own RPD, call dentist for appointment. Oh god. Alright. Care for the oral tissues, toothbrushing technique, brushing with soft toothbrush, flossing technique demonstrate. Okay, I use plaque. Okay, yeah, please, we should be able to properly place and move the caution denture. Caution not to use occlusal force to seat the denture. Or in the partial denture, initial accommodation period. Okay. Maintenance, restorative evaluation. Also for osteo support. So the evaluation, maintenance. Okay. Alright, for things like this, I don't think I'll take notes of this. It feels too I'd say too redundant. The rest of these information here in this module. Anyway, I'm gonna skip on these two parts here. Alright. Okay. Infection control. Wait, didn't we already do this? Wait. Calculates a cross-contamination. Wait, this is not something I'm supposed to be talking about here. Oh my god. Alright, I'm at a point in my lessons here where I'm wondering whether I should even be making notes of this at all. Because they're either talking about things I already know about, or they're just, or I don't know, they're just talking about things that might not be even in the exam at all. Alright. Hold on, let me just take a sip of water here. Alright. Basic life support. Okay, I might need to make another tab here. Just for... We're now stepping way past my prosthodontics subject. I also need to make some notes for my quote-unquote entrepreneurship and practice management class. which to me doesn't sound like an entrep subject anymore. When you look at the list of of things I need to study here. So let me just save this document. It's called Prosto 2 Finals Notes. Okay. Let's go here. And I'm gonna skip forward to all these lessons here in my entrep subject to just focus on basic life support, which to me I think has nothing to do with entrepreneurship. Isn't that like something you study in like occupational safety or something? I mean, I'm not disregarding this basic life support procedures as an unnecessary thing, but is it really going to be something you need to study in a subject called entrepreneurship? Okay. Basic life support. Okay. Basic life support. So basic. Okay. The primary medical aid provided by a person, the procedure can prove to be very helpful when it comes to saving the life of an individual. BLS procedure is mainly used on people experiencing cardiac arrest. Oh, okay. We'll see. Okay. And this is a helpful definition here. Mainly used to help people. Mainly used on people experiencing cardiac arrest or respiratory failure. That's a helpful definition because I have no idea which areas of medicine can basic life support cover here. The BLS procedure, while the BLS procedure can be very useful, it's important to provide it the right way. For this reason, great emphasis is placed on BLS training provided by professional institutes. BLS certification can equip medical as well as non-medical professionals with the required skills and knowledge. Okay, skip through this. A life-saving technique used in many emergencies, including a heart attack or near drowning. See. Then this procedure with chest compression. I'm gonna change the font of this to no, like that. This, and then let's put this in bold because I need to make sure. I feel like that's something that would be part of the exam or something. What's this called again? Cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Okay. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Is spelled right? Resuscitation. Okay. Far better to do something than to do nothing at all if you're fearful that your knowledge or abilities are 100% right. Difference between CPR can help keep oxygen flood flowing to the brain and other vital organs until more definitive medical treatment can restore. Control C. Control V can keep wow, this is a helpful fact here. When the heart stops, the lack of oxygenated blood can cause brain damage in only a few minutes. A person may die within 8 to 10 minutes. Okay. I don't know how helpful that is in an NTREP subject, but I'm gonna keep that in because of how much of a fun fact that is. Okay. Next page. Okay. Oh, wait, this is a funny sentence here. To learn CPR properly, take an accredited first aid training course, including CPR and how to use an automated external defibrillator. If you are untrained and have immediate access to a phone, call 911 or your local emergency number for beginning CPR. The dispatcher can instruct you in the proper procedures until help arrives. I think one funny part of this sentence is this one line here, where to learn CPR properly, take an accredited first aid training course. Well, I'm doing it right now, technically. And it's technically telling me to take another course, I guess. Doing CPR and how to use an automated. Okay, before starting CPR check. Okay, I think I credited for his first aid, including CPR, and then how to use. Let me begin. Okay. Chest compressions. Okay. Alright, steps. I'm gonna list down the steps to CPR here. Steps to CPR. Chest compressions. Something airway. Airway being open. Airway being opened. And then something breathing. Rescue breathing. Okay, 3 steps to CPR. Oh, not 2 steps. 3 steps. Portuguese. What part of my what of my frickin' document am I writing in Portuguese with WPS? Okay, so I'm writing cab here because according to my module, the best way to memorize the steps to CPR is to remember the acronym CAB, which stands for chest compressions, airway being opened, and the breathing part in rescue breathing. Alright, cool. I'm gonna take these 2 over here. We'll see. Merge V. Learn CPR properly. There we go. I'm just gonna frickin' take this entire part of before you begin. Wait. I'm shape for the person. Is the person conscious or unconscious? Okay. Control C. Nice. Next page. Oh wow, what is this? Man, it's a very detailed way to apply CPR here. Questions. Huh. Okay. And they have like, this module has a very detailed explanation how to do CPR in both adults, children, and even babies. What the heck? Okay, I'll definitely take a note on that, but for now, let me speed up a little bit here. Let me learn about this lesson here. Management of medical emergencies in the dental office. Oh, what's this? Okay, hold on. The extent of treatment by the dentist requires preparation, prevention, and then management as necessary. Prevention is accomplished by conducting a thorough medical history with appropriate alterations to dental treatment as required. The most important aspect of nearly all medical emergencies in the dental office is to prevent or correct insufficient oxygenation of the brain and heart. Therefore, the management of all medical emergencies include ensuring that oxygenated blood is being delivered to these critical organs. This is consistent with basic cardiopulmonary resuscitation, with which the dentist must be competent. This requires the use the skills to manage most medical emergencies, which begin with assessment, and if necessary, the treatment of airway, breathing, and circulations. The ABCs of CPR. Usually only after these ABCs are addressed should the dentist be considered. Okay, so this next lesson is just telling me that after doing CPR, you do have the option to use emergency drugs just in case. Drugs that should promptly be available to the dentist can be divided into two categories. First category represents those who may be considered essential. These drugs are summarized in Table 1. Okay, I'm just gonna copy paste this table here into my notes. Drugs for medical emergencies. And then I'll make insert a row below. Control V. There we go. Okay. What else? Oh, medical emergencies. Alright. Let's see what this is all about. Basic principles of medical emergency management. This. Okay, I don't know why, but for some reason my default format sometimes when it comes to whenever I copy paste like text from a PowerPoint presentation is this wacky font format that I like installed like a few months ago. I don't know how to change that for some reason, but it's there, I guess. medical history. Are there any recent changes to health? Is the PX under the care of a physician? Has the PX had any serious illnesses? Three steps to prevent medical emergencies in the dental clinic. 1. Medical history. 2. Okay, any recent changes? The patient had any serious illnesses? Status operations? Is the PX taking any drugs? Status medications? Is the patient have any allergies? Is the patient pregnant? Okay, patient evaluation. Okay. Fine. Staff training / preparation. Steps to patient evaluation. Okay. Record vital signs, complete dental exam. Record vital signs, complete dental exam. What else? Visual inspection of patients. Adequate preparations. That's very, but in general, expected that the dentist will be able to initiate emergency management and be capable of sustaining a victim's lives. Simplicity halts confusion. Okay. Basic principle of managing all medical emergencies. Basic life support. Place the patient supine. Call for assistance, assure, PX if conscious, maintain airway, document, okay. Yeah, we're really getting very particular here. Gasping of breath, PX grabs at throat. Panic, supersternal, supraclavicular retraction, partial obstruction, snoring, gurgling, wheezing. Causes of airway obstruction, hypopharyngeal obstruction. Okay, the floor from 30 back in the dental chair, and tilt, chin lift, and maneuver. Okay. This part of the lesson is like telling me how to do the Heimlich maneuver. Wait, what? Okay, so it's telling me how to do it on an adult, how to do the Heimlich maneuver on a child, on an infant, and then oneself. How, well, at what point would you be doing it on oneself? What, would you be like injured or something? Okay, but that's helpful to know. Okay. Here's your airway. After ventilation. We're getting very specific here. Syncope, shock, anaphylactic. Oh, Here we go. The thing that kind of clicks with me here is commonly used hemostatic drugs in dentistry. Most coagulant, astringent, applied topically, causing biliaries to controls minor bleeding. Okay. Postural. Okay, is this an NTREP class or is this a freaking pharmacology class? I'm not getting some. I'm now trying to recall some stuff I've already discussed in pharmacology class before. Okay, I'm gonna skip through all of this. Okay, this needs to be. I need to take notes of this. Oh my god. What is this? Modules. Alright, so the thing about these about these more specific parts of my lessons is that I think I can learn this more effectively through my clinical practice. I don't know if this has to be something I should read. I mean, yeah, I guess I need to take note of this, but it's like I feel like this is something I would forget if I don't do them in the clinic at some point. Dentist's primary duty of serving the public is accomplished by giving his professional service to the best of his capabilities. What is this? Code of Ethics of the Dental Association? The Philippine Dental Association? Okay. Oh, hey, look at this. I'm reading a little section of my lesson here called the PDA Code of Ethics, which is a set of guidelines that every dentist in the country should should follow. It says here under discoveries of works that in the interest of public health, the dentist, dental hygienist, and dental technologists must make available their discoveries, inventions, or works which are useful in safeguarding or promoting health subject to government regulatory laws. Which means that technically I should be sharing these things to you guys, these lessons I'm reading in another window, but although to be fair though, this law doesn't outright say that you can just share these works for free. So I guess that's the one, I guess, loophole in this law that my college is following right now. Dental healthcare program. The dentists, dental hygienists, and dental technologists are participate in programs designed for oral health education and care. They shall participate in volunteer programs for the delivery of oral health services in underserved and underprivileged areas. You know, I think I have attended a dental healthcare program before with my with my parent one time, and they were like doing laser surgery for a rural community here in the Philippines that's just there to remove any labial, what's it called? Any labial frenum attachments and stuff. I don't know. It was a very it was a very non-traditional dental healthcare programs, because I don't really see a lot of programs in this country that requires dentists to carry a laser with them to do some oral surgery on children. But it is a actual thing that dentists do nowadays, and and I'm pretty sure it's necessary for children at that time. Ethics. Okay. Records keeping. Alright. 10 years. Duty of the profession. Every dentist, dental hygienist, or dental technologist shall complete a minimum of 60 continuing education / development credit minutes using units every 3 years. Prior to renewal of his professional identification card, provided that the nature of the CPE program shall conform to the advanced competency program stipulated by the CPE Council. Oh, I know that. I knew that. I know that that even if you're a dentist, you still need to like refresh your education in your work. But I didn't know that there's like a specific programs that's required by law that they should attend to refresh their knowledge in dentistry. But 45 CDEs, 45 units in a course? Wow. The Board of Dentistry shall directly regulate the establishment and conduct of training delivered independently by an individual or group of dental professionals. We'll get through this. So I'm gonna skip this. Each specialty society shall apply to the Board of Dentistry for the accreditation of the society. Each specialty society must evolve its own system of accreditation, subject to review of the Board and admission. Okay, I guess this other section is for, I don't know, organizations dental organizations in this country that specializes on a specific thing, like periodontics or digital dentistry. Okay. Section 20. Authorized advertising. The best and honorable means by which a dentist, dental hygienist, or dental technologist may make known and advance his lesser reputation for skills and competence in the practice of dentistry is through his professional services to his lesser patients and to the public. Okay. Alright. That has something to do with advertising yourself as a dentist, I guess. Which to me doesn't really say that much. Like, are there any like guidelines to follow when you are advertising yourself as a dentist? This feels like a very loosey-goosey statement that can be easily bypassed by people. Use of professional titles and degrees. Okay. Professional stationery. Cards, letters, announcements, professional cards, telephone and other directories, announcements, financial support. Okay, I think I'm done studying for today. This is such a long-winded discussion here. Alright, so we made like 6 pages of notes here for both my Prosthodontics class and my entrepreneurship class. I might do a part 2 of this because I still need to make some notes for my Rowan Genealogy class, which I'll probably do at around Tuesday of this week. So I don't know if you guys are fond of dentistry, which I guess you're not. Be sure to tune in on that freaking stream, I guess. But anyway, if you guys like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe, or don't. I think if you're gonna like and subscribe my channel, it might as well be for my Blender and music stuff that I'm posting recently. By the way, for my second channel, I'll be posting the recent song I recently made in LMS last stream. So if you want to go check that out, I will be posting that sometime tonight, I think. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Now, go read a book. I certainly did. Bye bye.